The next part, we will examine an actual auditor's report issued by SGV, so which is a local auditing firm related to its audit of Ayala Corporation's financial statements last 2017. So this is an example of an actual auditor's report. So earlier we discussed the basic sections of the independent auditor's report. So we'll tackle those sections in this actual auditor's report one by one. So the first part, take note, remember we have the title. So the title is Independent Auditor's Report. And then the next section is the addressee. So in this case, the addressee is the stockholders and the board of directors. And here's the address of the corporation. So the first section of the auditor's report, body of the auditor's report rather, so is the audit opinion. So in this case, the audit opinion of SGV to Ayala Corporation is unmodified. So it says here that the consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material respects the consolidated financial position of Ayala Corporation and its subsidiaries as of December 31, 2017 and 2016, and its consolidated financial performance, so cash flows in the period ended December 31, 2017, in accordance with the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. Okay, so by the way, in some CPA questions, it's also asked what type of standards are being mentioned in a specific paragraph of auditor's report. So take note in the opinion paragraph. So what was mentioned is the PFRS, or the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. So here in the basis for opinion, so what is being mentioned is the PSA. So we conducted our audit in accordance with PSAs. So our responsibilities under those standards are further described. So we refer to the auditor's responsibilities for audit of the consolidated financial statement section of our auditor's report. So we also mentioned that we are independent. So in accordance with the Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, and that we have fulfilled so our other ethical requirements. And finally, we close this paragraph with mentioning that we have obtained sufficient and appropriate evidence to provide basis for our opinion. Okay? So this immediately follows the opinion paragraph. So after the basis for opinion paragraph, so we have the key audit matters. So the key audit matters, so remember, because Ayala Corporation is a listed entity, so there will be this section in the auditor's report of SGV to Ayala Corporation. So remember, key audit matters, so these are significant matters that we communicate to the users of the financial statements. So coming from the matters we have communicated to those charged with governance. So again, what are those matters that we include in this key audit matters paragraph? So number one, so we include here areas that are susceptible to higher risk of material misstatement. So for example, those significant risks. So that we have discussed repeatedly during the first part of our modules. So another, second, significant auditor judgment involving significant management judgment as well. And the third and the last, the effect on audit of significant events or transactions that have taken place during the period. So including the responses of the auditor in those areas. Like for example, in audit of SGB of Ayala Corporation's financial statements, so what were the significant matters that SGB communicated so in their auditor's report? So we will proceed with the next section. So we have here for in this case revenue recognition. So this is the first key audit matter that SGB highlighted in their auditor's report related to their audit of Ayala Corporation. So because remember, revenue is considered as a significant risk in every audit. So that is why expectedly this is also one of the significant matter that will be highlighted in our auditor's report. Okay, so in this part, SGV explained why Revenue recognition has been considered as a significant matter to be included here in the key audit matter paragraph of the auditor's report of SGV. So including the auditor's response. So what did SGV do? So to address the significant risk brought by the audit of the revenue account. So the auditor here explained what procedures they perform, so including the findings, their conclusion, so in relation to their audit of revenue. Okay? Now, another significant item, so that was included here in the key audit matter paragraph, we have amortization of concession asset, so using unit of production method. So because this one, aside from this is also an area susceptible to higher risk of material misstatement, so this also results from significant judgment arising from management. Okay? So because of the involvement of significant judgment, including the next issue. So for example, in this one, accounting for business combination. So this is also a complex area to audit. So therefore, we also, or the auditor also included this one in their key audit matters to be communicated to the users of the financial statement, so including the audit response. So that is why remember, so we include in our key audit matter those significant risks, number one. Number two, significant judgment. Now, those involving significant judgment. Now, the last one, key events that affected the audit occurring during the period. Okay? So like for example, if you read a more recent auditor's report, let's say auditor's report for 2020, so a common content of the key audit matter would be the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. So in the audit of financial statements of the auditor's clients or of the companies. So because that is a significant event that affected the audit. So because for example of the remote audit, which is something new for most companies. So that is why if you read most recent auditor's report, that would normally be also included in the key audit matters discussion or section of the auditor's report uh, recently, no? So, or during the last year's audit. Okay? So, because those are the matters that we include here in this section. So, significant risk, those that result from significant judgment and significant event that has affected the audit. So, but again, remember, not all matters that we communicated to those charged with governance will be included here in the key audit matter. So, ultimately, there will be an element of the auditor's judgment to select which specific items to report to users or to be included here in the key audit matter paragraph. And then the next section of the auditor's report would be the responsibilities of the management and those charged with governance. So for the financial statements, so in this case, consolidated financial statements. So aligned with what we have discussed earlier. So this part here is somewhat standard. So including the next one, we have the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated financial statements. So what will normally vary, no, from client to client will be the key audit matter paragraph. And of course, the opinion paragraph if the auditor issues a modified opinion. So here we have the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. So including the description of the audit process. So until this last part. Okay, then finally, last section of the auditor's report. So would be the name of the engagement partner. For example, in this case, the name of the engagement partner is Lucy L. Chan. So the auditor is SGV, Sisip Guerres Velayo and Company. So including the credential of the signing partner. Okay, so also here included is the jurisdiction, for example, Makati City. So, and the date of the auditor's report. So, the date of the auditor's report is March 9, 2018. So, remember, this is very important because this is the last day that the auditor is expected to perform audit procedures related to their audit of this particular client.